I've had a few requests of how to get a character to move randomly, perhaps an enemy, randomly around the screen. So I thought I'd show how you might do that. Scratch isn't a very scary enemy, so I might delete Scratch and I might go looking for something out of the library. What would be a scary... Well, the bat is a pretty good one because it can fly around. And also, the bat we can make constantly flap its wings thanks to these two costumes here. So why don't we make it flap its wings first? So all I'm going to do is say forever. Switch to the next costume. Now, unfortunately, that's going to flip through about 30 times a second, I think is the frame rate in Scratch. That's probably too fast. So after it's done the next costume, I want it to just wait for maybe half a second, which would be 0.5 of a second, a little bit like 5 is half of 10. And there we go, there's my enemy. Maybe my enemy's a little bit big, so I can just click on the shrink button and shrink down a little bit. There we go. Now, how do I make that bat fly around randomly? Well, let's say when clicked, and we'll do a forever block as well. And before we keep going, as usual, we don't want it to flip upside down when it turns left. So we'll select this left-right orientation there. Always when you're trying to work out how to do something in Scratch, think about what exactly you want it to do. I want it to travel this direction slowly for a little bit, and then I want it to maybe change direction a little bit, and change direction a little bit more, and then go straight, and then change direction a little bit more and go straight. So it's sort of swinging around here. So how do I get it to go slowly forward for a little bit? Well, to do that, I would say move. If I just said move 50, or if I just said move 20 steps, it would go bang. I want it to move slowly 20 steps, so perhaps I'll say move 2 steps and do that 10 times. So if I click this now, there we go. Okay, so it's doing that forever. And let's say I want it to start here. I'll just get a go to block and put it up there. But how do I get it at the end of this? I want it to change direction a little bit. So I'm going to say turn right by 15 degrees. Let's try that. Okay. So now it's moving around, and that might be all you want. So think about what it's doing here. It's moving 2 steps 10 times to slow it down, and then it's turning right by 15 degrees. And once it's turned by 360 degrees, it'll be back to the start again. What if I want my bat to be a little bit more unpredictable? So what if I want it to maybe turn right or left by somewhere between 0 and 15 degrees? Well, luckily we have this pick random number, and at most I want it to turn 15 degrees. 0 would be going straight ahead. What would be going the opposite, turning left by 15 degrees? Well, that would be negative 15. Okay, let's see how that goes. Oh, it's getting stuck in that corner. So what I might make it do is, if it hits the edge, I want it to bounce off. If on edge, bounce. I'll try that. There, it's bounced off. Okay. That's a little bit less predictable. It's sort of swirling around a little bit. Now what I can do is I can actually make it go a little bit further before it changes direction. And I can also make its direction changes a bit more, or a bit larger. So between -30 and 30. And let's see how that changes things. Okay. So that really is starting to become a bit more random. We're not quite sure where it's going to go. And you can play around with these numbers a little bit if you want to make it act differently. I really suggest you go and build this yourself in Scratch. Use a different character, mess around with the code, make it a little bit different, and put it into your own games. Good luck.